8.
You're watching The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales. Streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
2, 1.
Hey. Happy Monday. Look who I found wandering around the parking lot, devoid of comics. So that's why I came back.
The show is going to start at 6:20 from now on because the first 20 minutes is going to be the listing of Robbie's nominations on Monday.
Yeah, we'll start a little earlier. That's how we'll take care of that problem. Start a little. Yeah, we'll start at 5:45. Okay, instead of 6.
Nominated for coolest toys in his background. Yeah, that's
So Robbie, of course, is very happy today, I'm sure, after his Cowboys thrashed the Giants. Oh, that was ugly.
That's right.
That was
I think the biggest shutout in Cowboys history, especially on the road for sure. So
what I find
is coming up Millhouse for Robbie.
Well, what I find ironic is that now the biggest supporters of the Giants, the people who are not bad-mouthing the Giants, are Dallas fans.
Well, because the narrative that everybody is, it's like one of two sides. Everybody's like, it's overreaction Monday. It's the first weekend of the year in the NFL season, right? And everybody's like, oh, the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. And then everybody else is like, no, the Giants are just that bad. I'm like, maybe it's a combination of a little of column A and a little bit of column B. I don't know.
I'll tell you what it is, too. It's partly in pro wrestling. It's partly in sports journalism. You have two teams going at it, just like if you have two fighters going at it, right? You put the one guy over, you put the other guy over. Because I'll tell you right now, if you and I are on a seesaw and you're up in the air for the whole thing, nobody's shocked, man.
Here's the thing. I think that the conversation that's going to happen, I think the Giants are having a hard time with it. It's been happening all off season, is the New York team that everybody's going to be talking about this season is the Jets. And the Giants are not used to that. It would be like everybody's talking about the Mets and not the Yankees. So I think that there's going to be a seismic shift on how. So now the Giants are even more under a microscope. If let's say, Jets win tonight, they have a great season. Aaron takes them as far as he can take them. And the Giants are still struggling with the same garbage that they've been struggling with every year. Dallas fans, every time they win the first game, they always draw the Giants. I think they've won almost every single time.
All this noise over 2, 8, and 9 teams? Come on.
And then Dallas fans, as I got to give Robbie this much kudos. He's being honest. This is the year, guys. We're going all the way. Did you see what we did to the Giants? And it's game 1. Okay.
Yeah, but you got to understand.
First game of the season.
So much money is tied up into this. They have to do that. It's fan hype, and then the fan hype gets
I get that.
You know what I mean?
All right, Eddie Von B, I know, I believe, Lions fan. That was a big win. That was actually a really fun game to watch. TJ, nobody's shocked by that one, right?
You think more people are paying attention to football than they are the nominations for the Comic Book Award?
Oh, yes, my goodness, Joe. I hope they're paying more attention to my hamburgers I've been making because they've been amazing.
You know what? The burgers look good, man. I'm telling you right now. The new show is going to be Pop Culinary Philosophers.
Yep, we're ready for it. We get to keep the initials and everything. No, the one sporting thing outside of the Cowboys dominating against the Giants that I really enjoyed. I'm an Auburn fan, and down here the Auburn-Alabama rivalry is very real. And so I got to say, it made me warm in my heart that Alabama lost to Texas. That was nice. So
yeah, that doesn't happen too often, man. Alabama fans are like. It's like Haley's Comet. What? We never lose.
I'm kind of glad that Dallas beat Giants that badly, mainly because at 8:57.
I hate the Giants.
No, because at 8:57 p.m. my power went out. Okay.
Power
so I couldn't watch the game. I'm pulling out my little charger to keep my phone charged. The little battery pack. I had to go out in the rain to get it out of my car. I'm sitting there in the dark. I start reading a book because I can't. I check from time to time, and I'm kind of glad because if it was a real good game, I would have been pissed that my power was out and I couldn't watch it. So in a sense, the only thing better would have been a tie.
You could have watched it on your phone.
Dude, I was really literally losing power. I didn't know how long the power was going to be out, right? So I was charging it up on my little battery thingy that I have for
After
in the middle
we
of
had that
game.
winter power outage a few years ago, I went and I invested in like a brick, and I keep this thing charged all the time. So as soon as the power goes out, every device I have, laptop, iPad, phone, everything
I've
goes
got
on
a
the
lot
brick.
of those, but one doesn't work anymore. I just found out it's the big one. Now I have
And here we go already.
It's happening.
So
Those things do not last forever.
no, I know. Yeah. So oh Lord. There we go. It's not until Comcast has a word to say, and Comcast has had their word to say today.
Where's Alex with the
It's got a
MiFi?
Giants jersey on.
What's that?
Where's Alex with the MiFi?
What's that, Jerry?
Where's Alex with the MiFi? Oh my goodness.
I love it. Welcome everybody to the absolute most professional comic sales show on YouTube.
Frozen.
Let me see if I put it in the
Oh,
chat.
Rex just disappeared. Did you see that? He just like disappeared.
Oh goodness.
How you doing, Jay?
I'm good, boss. I had to dip out on your show last night, go do some grocery shopping, but I'm pretty sure you had a good time, man. Glad to see
I
it.
did. Yeah, there was an easy breezy game to watch. I wasn't upset. People were giving me super chats to take shots. It was great. It was nice.
Yeah. Best part of my week is when I don't have to work Sunday and you got a show, man.
Nice. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it when you're there.
Pretty good,
Y'all-
CJ. We're trying, y'all. I might drop them out for just a little bit till they get it figured out.
Dude, Rex just teleported back in. That's crazy.
All right, give me a second here.
There you go.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, it's not hooked up. All right, we'll try this for as long as it goes. Low hit, yeah, right.
Oh, you know what I want to do real quick before we get started?
Yeah.
Last week was my birthday. A ton of people reached out from the show on different platforms or whatever. I just want to say thank you all. It was, it was super nice. It was it's nice. It's not, it's one of those things where you wake up and you see like 65 notifications, 70 notifications, and you think, oh my God, like there's a dead body in my front lawn. I don't know what's going on.
Huh. Oh, it happened again. Yep, they're completely gone now.
Yeah.
All right. Yep, that's because I connected to the MiFi while we were talking.
Okay.
All right.
Happy birthday,
So,
John, by the way. I just
we
wanted to
have-
save it to tell you in person. So happy birthday, John.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you much. It was a good day. It was,
So, Triple B, a big liar.
no, I don't look a day over 30. I look many days over 30. Many days.
But so how was Horror Fest?
Horror Fest has been great. Tonight we're doing Elvira, Mistress in the
Elvira.
Dark. Yeah.
That's right. I remember you saying that.
Yeah, we did Prey on Saturday night, and I thought Prey was solid. I didn't like it as much as other people are liking it, but I did enjoy it. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. But Elvira,
It was a different look. It wasn't the best, but
I give them credit for, I'm trying to think of a good way to put this, because I have the same feeling that Robbie did. I know a ton of people love this movie. I give them credit for trying something new with the franchise, right? Like that was sort of a brave direction to take it in. And the primary actor, she did a great job.
yeah.
But I just, you know what I mean? Something somehow it just didn't come together.
I have to be honest. I think the problem is it was once again in the woods or the jungle, and I think that's you've done that with the original. The reason Predator 2 was a good movie, I thought it was because you took it out of the jungle into the inner city, right? So I think that kind of worked. I think going back to the jungle kind of lost.
I think the future of Predator, if they're really going to do this, right, they really kind of need to lean into the alien Predator. And even if they choose to maybe crossing over into the MCU or something like that, and I know people are going to say, no. And I'm like, well, I hear you, but look at how many Predator movies they've done now. And there's like the whole range from this is great to this is terrible. So I'm not saying Prey was terrible, but I'm just saying the Predator movies covered like the whole range, right? Arnold's performance from 40 plus years ago can't carry a franchise into the 2020s. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen.
Right.
Alien is the same way. Those two franchises are interconnected on a whole bunch of levels. And one of them is you get Alien and Aliens, which are great movies, and then they kind of start going off the rails, and then they sort of try this and that. And, even the audiobooks are, these are by writers of the movie. Yeah, that's the problem. Even the audiobooks aren't particularly good. So they need to, I think when you have two properties like that already sort of have some precedent for connection, the way forward is to put them together.
Right.
And to put them together maybe in space.
Well, I mean, they tried that though, right? They did the AVP movies and those didn't work apparently. So I don't know.
I think, honestly, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I think it's because they probably didn't have the advantage of the modern day push. They didn't have $150 million to make the movie, right? They didn't have the pull. When Disney calls someone, generally they pick up the phone. So it didn't have the star power.
Right.
And you know what I mean? It didn't have the budget to kind of do what they needed to do. I'll tell you right now, if you're serious about this, you essentially do a movie where at least a good chunk of that movie is Predators and Wolverine.
Right.
No, that's how you introduce the X-Men. That's how you get a ton of box office, and that's how you sort of
Dwayne's a pain. What's going on? Yeah, that would be interesting.
Well, I'm just saying, you know what? They've tried everything. So if you want to just bag it, I'm fine with that too.
Which goes back to the conversation we had on Robbie's show on Friday. Is it time to was it last Friday we talked about it?
Yeah, it was on Friday. We were like, are we done with franchises and sequels and stuff like that?
Yeah, I kind of think that's the problem.
I want to say that's true, but we've talked about this on a bunch of different shows. And it's kind of not, though. It's moved past comic book movies, superhero movies. However, everything I see upcoming, they're looking for that one IP that clicks. All of the Halloween movies up until Christmas movies are essentially another Exorcist film. I was in the movies today watching The Nun 2.
Right.
The scariest experience there was like the 6-minute preview for The Exorcist. The Nun was a ton of people watching this movie. So people are saying nobody's going to the movies. I don't know.
Yeah, Sean, I'm down with Fast and Furious as well. I mean, they've managed to make that kind of, I don't know.
That's the crossover we need to happen then is Fast and Furious meets the Predator. And like Dom Toretto is the only man who can like hunt down the Predator.
Oh, how funny would that be? They're in a garage and you hear the thing go, family. Like, that writes itself.
He hits the nitrous button and it messes up the infrared vision of the Predator.
Marcus, I've seen The Nun twice now. The Nun 2 twice now. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, so maybe we'll talk about it. I know Robbie probably hasn't seen it yet because he's not like a opening day guy.
The cold up there is frozen Lyle's eyeball shut.
29th birthday. It's like a 30th anniversary of my 29th birthday.
You got to blink every now and again, Lyle, in that cold,
Right.
So
Robbie and John are writing movies again for free. Well, all I'm going to say is that either go to the next level or it's also okay to decide, you know what? These movies were great. We went too far. Maybe let's just put them back and let people enjoy them. But because of the way these things, and we've talked about this so much times, because of the way these things get financed now, you have to prove that there's money to be made here.
Right. No, I agree.
Tom Cruise for 20 years has been Mission Impossibling and teasing people with Top Gun.
And weird, good one.
To the point where when the Top Gun sequel came out, it was raining money.
Yeah, but there was such a long gap. I mean, so that you kind of can sort of see why that might happen. But all right, I don't see our buddy Ron here, but we've been starting
Ron
with the sketch.
Here.
Was he? Okay.
I was sure. He sent me a really funny thing today too about lawyers.
All right, so let's start with sketch covers since we've been doing that for our buddy Ron. I didn't see him in there, but he'll join us.
Maybe I could have sworn I saw him, but if I
might be right, you might be right. All right, so sketch covers of the night. We have 4 of them. We have King Spawn number 20, signed with a Spawn cover sketch by our buddy Ken Haeser.
Oh boy!
Suggested retail of $99.99, and we have this one. It's one of our 5-star $50 books. All right, yeah, Ghostbusters. Dude, they've done and redone that. I can't even. The last one was pretty good, but
they managed to recapture some of the balance of the with the very last one. Yeah. But that's a franchise too that it's done.
I don't care about any Ghostbusters movie unless it is accompanied by the repackaging of Ecto Cooler from High C. That's all I care about.
I'm right.
Does High C even exist anymore?
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah, they still have
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next up,
we talked about that on an episode. I talked to Ken. I don't know how Ken makes the letter V, and it looks like this awesome bat. And when I do it, it looks like I'm having a stroke.
All right. Next up, we have Batman number 181, facsimile edition, signed with a Poison Ivy cover sketch by Ken Haeser.
Oh, nice.
Oh, look at that. The 60s go-go check thing. Yeah. I like that, man.
Suggested retail of $99.99, and we have tonight for $66.19.
Oh, man.
He is something, isn't he?
Poison Ivy fan of your life.
Does Tang still exist? I don't know. Does it?
It's what the astronauts
Tang does still exist. Tang still exists, yes.
All right.
I don't think they do grape Tang anymore, but I think they still.
Well, you used to buy it at the supermarket all the time, dude. That was the best marketing gimmick of all time.
Kid, like my mom had no peace and quiet because I wanted what the astronauts drank, and she was like, "Here, have your sugar water. Leave me alone. I need to take my olive."
Oh man! All right. So next up, we have Captain America number 1, signed with Punisher cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza.
Oh man, is John Spilios here?
Wow.
No, I haven't seen him either.
This is really good.
$119.99. And we have it tonight for $74.19. Sean Butler, I miss Joel Cola too, man. What an advertising.
I really like the coloring on this one. This is absolutely fantastic.
This is where Mariano does his blood splatter. So to speak. Yeah, I do too.
I just think that's really, really good.
So they had to recolor in the E, I think. And part of the, for the E. You notice how it comes into his forehead?
It kind of works, though, because, he used to wear in the Jim Lee days, he wore that headband.
Right? Yeah, I was going to say
I thought he was just wearing a headband, to be honest with you.
Eddie, that's what I was asking. I didn't know if John Spilios, maybe he's working or whatever, but.
Yeah, he might be working. All right, so then last up. Star Wars.
It does look like a Valentine's Day.
Vader Down, number 1, signed with Ahsoka cover sketch by Brandon and Brian Frame. A couple of new artists that we've been working with. Yes. So suggested retail of $119.99, and we have it for $77.19 tonight. All right, so.
Yeah, the Ahsoka cover is. I'll tell you, I would like to see something done in Star Wars Visions Season 3 where the whole episode was done like that. Because if you've ever watched Visions, they have all these sort of different styles that they animate. I would love to see one done like this because that's just...
Lyle, I don't know. I think they do. They make that strawberry quick.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. So, there was some.
But
there was a donut shop.
Yeah, but you don't really find it. You don't really find it powdered. It's usually the squeeze thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they do the powdered Nestle Quick anymore, do they?
I don't know.
It's because they can add so much water and cheaper
That's true.
Stuff. That's why they have gel.
I remember, I used to love that. It came in a tin, and you'd have to get the spoon and pop the top off. Oh my goodness!
All right, don't forget, hit that thumbs up. We got 27 in the house and only 15 thumbs up. So if you wouldn't mind, take a minute, pop that thumbs up. Helps us out, helps the whole channel out.
That was when I was a
weird.
kid, one of my favorite things that my dad would do was he'd make a strawberry shortcake and he'd put Quick in the batter.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So like there would even would amp up the strawberry flavor. It was really cool.
See, when we would make strawberry shortcake when I was growing up, we would just go buy those pre-packaged things, get some whipped cream and some of the strawberries that already had the glaze on it, and just put it together.
That works at like 2:30 in the morning when you're in some all-night store.
Triple B says they still do have the powder.
Oh, nice. Okay. Does it still come in a tin though?
My mom would buy Ovaltine. She always was convinced it was healthier.
Like Bosco.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in a bottle, so it must be better.
What I used to love when I was younger was Carnation Instant Breakfast. I used to love those things, man.
Yeah, it used to give me the runs. Just saying.
Of all the times I wanted the internet to go out, that was one of them, man. You mean as in you made it run to the store to buy more?
No, not what I meant at all. You know exactly what I meant.
Oh, no.
All right.
Next week, Amy and I will be here discussing everything but the effect of Carnation Instant Breakfast drink.
Just saying, man. The container is plastic. I have not looked for that in years now. Now I think about it. So I really don't know.
Well, at our age, it's Ensure. It's the same stuff. They just put it in a different container.
Yeah, you don't have to mix it.
I always preferred chocolate milk with the syrup anyway, because I would just, when I was a kid, I'd be like, squeeze, and you'd count to like 25, and then you'd let it go, and then you would just like.
Well, when you have the syrup, you could do more stuff with it.
Well, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like
put it on ice cream, right?
Powder. Yeah. My mom had this thing. She bought Bosco, which I don't even think they make Bosco anymore. She thought because it was in glass, it was better. And you were supposed to add like a little bit to stuff. We added Bosco to everything. Like my dad would make waffles. People are like, when did they invent chocolate waffles? I don't know when they invented chocolate on waffles, but I was a little kid, so 50 years ago, and I was doing this with Bosco over a whole thing of waffles. So when my parents came down, like, why did you put chocolate on these?
All right, so we got a bunch of Batman Detective Comics high grade back issues, and then let's see what Screech put together for us. Looks like we're gonna have the incentives from last week. And weird, seriously? He doesn't know.
Bosco is one of those things that's kind of been forgotten. When I was a kid, Bosco was already on the way out because everybody wanted Nestle Quick. They had a much better marketing thing. Ovaltine was more nationally based. Bosco might have been just a regional thing. But I have seen the chocolate butter. I was at a King's Market in North Jersey earlier today, and they have like a little sort of flavored butter stand. They had chocolate, they had Nutella, and they had like butterscotch butter.
Right. All right. So as always, we have Dynamite 10-pack reader set, 10 random Dynamite titles, $3.99 cover price or higher, and as always, $5 for all 10 books, 50 cents a copy. You can't go wrong there. Yeah. All right. All right, so as I was saying, we got Batman Detective back issues, high grade, keys, and then
do we take normal break times now? Or
I'm not sure. On Mondays we take normal break times.
Okay.
On Wednesdays, I'm not sure what we do. Bosco is the ATM password for Costanza.
Yeah.
I remember that.
All right, and it looks like we got sets tonight for the really cheap back issues that Alex puts together for us. Looks like there's some pretty interesting ones.
Is he going to come in here and do his crazy Alex?
I have no idea.
One big breath and go.
I have no idea. We'll find out. There are a lot of books here. All right, so we will. All right. Yeah. So thank you, Sean, for saying so. Yeah, it's definitely worth it. Getting 10 comics, 50 cents a copy. I don't know the last time cover price was that cheap. And we'll mix it up for you. So yeah, CJ. Okay, maybe Bosco is.
It might have been.
Yeah, maybe it was a local thing. Okay, that makes sense.
I remember there was a place on the boardwalk in Atlantic City because I grew up not that far from there, and they would have like the Bosco thing.
Yeah.
and it was the logo and like the bottle kind of spun or whatever.
Yeah, I remember growing up with Bosco too.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to take our first break. Stay with us. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
According to a statistic that I just made up, people spend 4 hours a day changing the television channel. People who watch The Experience don't do that. Save yourself a ton of time by tuning into The Experience and enjoying our new original programming 7 days a week. And then tell your friends. Think about the money they could save on batteries in the remote alone just by tuning into The Experience. Find out more by scanning the QR code below. Did you know that every Experience show, including some exclusive content, streams on Twitch? Check it out, twitch.tv/the_EXP. Or just scan that QR code. Do you remember what it was like when you were a little kid and you got a letter in the mail? Now imagine that letter was filled with information about your favorite shows, pop culture questions, links to things you're going to want to see later, and even sneak peeks at upcoming programming here on The Experience. That's what the EXP mailing list is. Every week, we send you sneak peeks, information, and all of the relevant links for all of the shows you want to see. Sign up now on our website or scan the QR code that's on your screen right now.
You just finished the last episode of your favorite new show, and you just have to talk about it. But all your friends are ghosting you because of that incident last week at the buffet. Oh, you know the one. What you did to that chowder. Ugh. Keeps me up at night. So what do? Join writer Dan Wickline as he breaks down all your favorite pop culture media. Whether it's a review of the latest nerdy TV show or a dive back into the history of your favorite comic characters, Dan's ready to discuss all the hottest topics live. Join the conversation as Dan live streams Tuesday through Thursday at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. The Dan Wickline Show on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales.
Hey, we're back. All right, so
Captain Midnight. Oh, that reminds me. I haven't pestered Nick about the rights to Captain Midnight in quite a while.
Okay, wait until I leave. So Hershey, I remember as well. Somebody mentioned Hershey. That's local to us, though, pretty much. It's like, an hour and a half away from us? So, yeah, so got plenty of Hershey. Ovaltine was the big thing. Ovaltine had more of an international following, if I remember correctly.
Well, I think Ovaltine was like maybe French-Canadian or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I think it was like a much bigger thing. Like I said, I think of all the things we've talked about, I mean, Nestle is like a global food corporation, even way back then, French, German, something. I think Bosco was very much a limited
problem.
Product.
What I remember about Ovaltine was, the problem was they it wasn't really a powder. It was almost like little... like little pebbles almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like, I forget.
So it didn't really melt in
granules.
Granules.
It was more like instant coffee or something.
Yeah, it didn't really dissolve in the milk. Yeah, it was like instant coffee, back in the day when people used to drink that stuff. So I don't know. All right, so let's get to the Batman books. All right, so we have tonight Batman 387, third appearance of the Black Mask. It is a 9.2.
Oh boy.
And we've got it tonight for $22.
Preston, I was a big fan of Captain Midnight. I don't know how you felt about Dark Horse about 8-9 years ago. Josh Williamson, before he became Josh Williamson that everybody knows, did Captain Midnight. And I've been talking to Josh Williamson for a long time on social media. One of the best kind of messages I ever got was stay tuned for this really cool DH announcement. He didn't tell me what it was, but he just told me to make sure, like, I have my ears on, so to speak. And I was so happy. Captain Midnight is one of those things that's really cool. The serials, if you're into that sort of black and white era, are really neat. And he really did his level best to kind of capture the spirit of that. I think you could probably find them. I hate to say it, they might be in dollar bins. The print runs weren't huge. Most people, I recommend, if your dealer doesn't have them in a dollar bin, you're probably going to have to, buy them digitally, because there weren't really any famous artists on that. And this is kind of before Josh Williamson, this like pre-Ghosted and some of these other things that he did where, you can't find copies for them.
Right. All right. Next up, we got Batman number 400 from 1986. Stephen King intro, 9.2.
Bill Sienkiewicz cover.
And we have the one available for $45 tonight.
Yeah, a murderer's row of talent in this book. I believe that Batman 400 and Superman 400 need to be in every superhero fan's collection.
I was going to say, when you wind up having, this is a gold banner. Isn't there another color banner to this, I think?
I don't know. I don't know. Not that I'm aware of.
Because I seem to feel my copy is in a different color, which is probably like a second, third, fourth, fifth printing, whatever.
Probably because you left it in your car dashboard for like months.
Preston.
All right, you got it, Preston.
I mean, when you drop names like Stephen King and Bill Sienkiewicz, this is sold. This is done.
All right.
Tell Alex to get more of these.
Well, this came from that consignment deal. Yeah. So.
I don't know how he keeps all that straight, man. More power to him. I barely keep my own comics straight. There are times I've bought things. I have weird I love the cover of Tower of Night 6. I have 5 copies of that book. I'm putting my comics together a couple of years ago, and I'm like, during the pandemic, everybody's going through their comics. I'm like, why did I buy this so much? I'm looking to see if there's like an artist or what. No, I just like the cover. It's just a dude, a girl, and a creepy monster. And somehow about it, I like it, so I keep buying it. And of course, when you're at a con, most of that stuff is like $5, $10. So you're like, okay, I'll buy it.
All right. So next up, we got Batman number 404 from 1987. Frank Miller's script, Batman Year One. It is a 9.2. It is a 9.2, and we've got it for $45 tonight.
One of the greatest comics of all time, in my opinion, right here.
I'd love to see, and of course it's probably not going to happen, I'd love to see Miller and Mazzucchelli do like Batman Year Last.
Huh.
You know what I mean? Like, this is the final ride, man.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Like the death of Superman?
No, John Byrne tried to touch into a little bit of that energy with Elseworlds called Generations, and it was the perfect ending, right? Batman hands it off to Dick Grayson, Tim Drake. Those guys run the night.
Good one, Dwayne DePayne. I like that one.
The last night. And he basically decides, well, Ra's al Ghul, you got to go. And so after he kills him, he's like, well, there's this Lazarus pit here, and I'm real old now. So he hops in and basically regenerates himself, but decides, I'm not going to be Batman anymore. That was boring. So he goes out into the world and just does his thing as Bruce Wayne. And I thought to myself, that might be the most Batman thing I've seen before. You know what I mean? Where he just, Lazarus pit is mine now.
All right. So next up, we got Batman number 406 from 1987. Also, Frank Miller's script, Batman Year One. And we have this one for $25.
When this stuff came out, Mazzucchelli had like a real unique style. Right. You know what I mean? People were not, you were kind of used to seeing certain things. They really made sure he was nowhere near Neil Adams or Aparo or, you know what I mean? Any of those styles. And I think that works super well here.
Yeah, and if you look at what Mazzucchelli developed into, because there's Born Again, and then he starts doing Rubber Blankets or something. But then recently, his more recent work was Asterios Polyp, which completely different. Like this, I have the artist edition for the Born Again stuff, and David Mazzucchelli is like one of the greatest comic book artists of all time, and this is one of the greatest comics of all time, in my opinion.
And he doesn't really get the truth is he doesn't get the. his name doesn't get mentioned nearly enough when we have all these conversations about.
What's crazy though is that it gets mentioned so often, even though he really just has Year One, Born Again, and Mysterio's Polyp. Like it's so crazy because his output, even though it's so small, it's so significant, right?
Well, I'll tell you what it reminds me of almost to a certain extent is Charles Vess. That guy's work and cover, you're like, oh my God, where is there more of this? And there just isn't.
Yeah.
Here's a guy that kind of, he had his work, he was in there, and everybody's head turned. There are covers of Spider-Man fans that swear that those are their favorite covers of what he did. And then you look for more of his work, and it's just, he's sort of, as he used to say, he had a cup of coffee with the industry and moved on.
Yeah, he's got like an issue of Sandman, and he's got like what's the one that he did with Jeff Smith? Rose, right? That's a gorgeous book. By the way,
the Sandman issue he did is one of those sort of standout. When you see it, you're like, wow.
Yeah, he did the Midsummer Night's Dream, right? That one with such a great issue.
And then you're like, why didn't you get him to do more of that? And it's probably they tried, but the guy moved on. I don't know what he moved on to. It's not my business, but I hope it was successful. But
Clayton J, that is correct, buddy. All right, let me get through the Batmans. There's not a whole lot of them. All right, then we have Batman number 407 from 1987, Frank Miller, script, Batman Year One, and it's a 9.2. We've got this one for 25.
What a great way to work white into the banner. I mean, let's be honest, Batman comics are dark, right?
Yeah.
By design.
All right, Clayton J, you are claiming 407, right?
In my opinion, this is one of the greatest comic books of all time.
Oh, Batman Year One?
Yes, it's all 4 issues of this. Like it's
you got it, Jay.
It is my number one selling graphic novel at my shop too. We sell like multiple copies every week. I also push it. When people come in, they go, "What's a good place to start?" I go, "Batman Year One. Here you go. You're good. You'll be back."
Well, it's both logical and in terms of the story itself, but people, especially now, we're entering a period where these characters are 50, 60, 70, 80 years old.
Right.
Somebody comes in maybe that's 20 years old and says, oh my God, I had someone message me on Twitter about Vampirella. Like, oh, I caught a few issues. Where do I start? And then they start looking. They're like, is this the same character from like the 70s? Yes, it is. So you've got to try to find the spot where, like where somebody wants to jump in, right? What are they supposed to do? Drop $10,000 in back issues?
Right.
Yeah, for Robbie, that would be great, man. You close early that day. But, the reality is people just aren't going to do that. So you've got to try to find a spot. I can't think of any more reflexive answer than Batman Year One.
Batman Year One works so well because it acts as, first of all, like an origin for Batman, right? So it's like a definitive origin for Batman, a good place to start. Most people are familiar with the character of Batman. Most people want superhero when they first get into it. But this, because of the Miller and Mazzucchelli effect, also primes people to get ready to jump into non-superhero comics. You know what I'm saying? Because the book is a little bit more sophisticated than some of the other stuff you would get around its time.
Yeah.
All right. So John Spilios, Big John in the house. All right. Let's do a recap.
Oh, here we go.
Quick.
Wait, John, did you see this, man?
All right. So we've got Captain America number 1 signed with Punisher cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. It's just a retail of $119.99, and we have it for $74.19.
And I do think this is one of the best ones I've seen from Del Beato and Rivera. I love this cover, actually. The colors are amazing. It's like Slumber Party Massacre Part 2 colors. It's great.
Preston. What did Preston say? I missed it. Oh, yeah, Preston. I got to wait for Jade to do it, buddy.
Get it, John?
No worries, John. But I want to make sure you got to see it, buddy. That's all. All right. So then we did, I guess Ron is not in the house.
I thought I saw him. I apologize.
No, it's okay. No big deal. All right. So, we'll do a full Rex cap in a little bit. All right. So let's get back to the Batman books. All right. So next up, we got Batman number 426 from 1988. Death in the Family Begins. It is a 9.2. And we've got this one for $48.
Mike Mignola cover.
All right.
Oh, so if somebody asks, real quick, and I know this is going to sound self-serving, and I don't mean it this way. somebody who wants to start, like they see Vampirella, they think the character's cool or whatever. I love the Warren stuff. I love the Harris stuff. My short answer is always start with Vampirella #1 from Dynamite because it touches on some of that other stuff, and you can always go back and find that stuff later, right? When people kind of jump into the middle of, I grabbed the Warren magazine, the character's been sort of redone and redone and redone. Dynamite started the character in 2009, 2010, and that's sort of like that's a great jumping off point because it lets you know what you need to know, and you're off and running. Because, let's be honest, Dynamite has done a lot of Vampirella in the 13, 14, 15, whatever it's been, right? There's a lot of stuff there. Marcus says it. I would start with Dynamite's Vampirella, and I realize how self-serving that sounds. But if we were having this conversation in the street somewhere, I would probably say the same thing because the Harris stuff really, really, really ties into some of the loose ends that Warren had.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? Like, exactly, do you want to devote a year to your life to finding all this stuff? No.
Also, if you did want to get into the Harris and the Warren stuff, there's some really great collections available from Dynamite that you can like expand your Vampirella history with.
Yeah, that's true. They do have like the essential years type collections and stuff like that. That stuff is out there. I mean, we say this all the time. Your best friend there is your local dealer. I mean, really, just go in and say to him or her, hey, look, like this is, what do you think? Because they kind of have this answer.
Right.
I think Miss Jen gave this answer maybe a year or more ago. Like, where do you start with something? You know what I mean? And they have, rather than go on the internet, and, the internet is what it is. But, you'll get a more informed answer from your dealer. She or he'll, they're in the store, they're in the business. It's their business. It's their job to know.
Right. All right.
Yeah,
so next up,
and like Jay says, we got to make sure that we mean comic book dealer. Like local dealer could mean something else to other people.
Did he?
Your car
Did he
dealer?
mean that?
No, don't go to your car dealer.
All right. Next up, we got Batman #427 from 1988, Death in the Family Part 2. It is a 9.2. And we've got this one for 35.
Doesn't that just look like a Robin that you just want to hate? You know what I'm saying?
They voted.
Wow. Hey, Tom Bishop. What's up, man?
There's a great scene in one of the modern Red Hood things where someone is trying to say something to him. And in like a meta sense, he's like, everybody wanted me dead. And I'm just like, yes, they did, dude. Yes, they did. They voted for it.
All right. Next up, we've got Batman #428 from 1988.
Ooh.
Death of Robin, Jason Todd. It is a 9.2, and we've got this one for 70.
The best Jason Todd issue ever.
Well, I'll tell you this too. It was a very controversial cover, and even today, it's still it like strikes a chord, right? Like seeing this beaten and bloody Robin. Yeah.
Ooh, Marcus. Wow, that hurts. That hurts.
Well, the deal is Batman on his own tends to be more, to use a pulp analogy, Batman on his own tends to be more shadow, right?
Right.
Rich dude, kind of creepy, lives on his own. When you introduce Robin into the mix, it changes Batman. It softens him. It makes him more, for lack of a better term, more human, more approachable. Okay. When you see a cover like this, that's a big gear shift, man. You're thinking of, oh, man, my Super Friends and the Trouble Alert went off.
Yeah. Think, man, I'm like 8 or 9 years old. I'm seeing this at grocery stores, bruh.
Yeah.
Like what's going on here, man?
I mean, they used to do a great job of hiding like the adult material at like the local drugstore. This was just out there right next to the candy and the gum, man.
Oh, man. All right. Next up, we got Batman #429 from 1989. Death in the Family, Joker. And it's a 9.2, and we have this one for 35.
Yeah, absolutely, Sean. Absolutely. Robin takes Batman.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I think that's why I've always kind of preferred Batman without Robin. Like the very beginning of Batman Adventures was great. It was just him doing his thing, and but eventually, and you kind of have to do that too, right?
Right.
I mean, in Elseworlds without Robin, probably ends with Batman dead or Batman becoming the villain, right? I think we've seen that in Elseworlds over the years. Like, what if there's no Robin? He winds up becoming a slightly less brutal Ra's al Ghul.
You know, one thing that most people don't know is this is not actually Joker on the cover, but it's McDonald's Mac Tonight is who it is, just wearing a top hat.
All right. Next up, we got Batman number 500 from 1993. It is the Nightfall foil die cut cover. So the die cut is obviously where Batman's cape is.
Yeah.
It is a 9.2, and we've got this one for 15 tonight.
Such a milestone issue to me as a young, like pre-adolescent. Like you pull Batman off, and it's now Jean Paul Valley as Batman, and you got Bane over here holding Robin, and it was the culmination of the Nightfall story, the introduction of the brand new Batman, Azrael, Jean Paul Valley. I ate this stuff up. I was that sucker there every week at my shop buying everything.
You know what though? I remember that era very clearly, and people literally were like pulling books off walls at this point. There was, people were like, yeah, I could have went to college or I could open a comic book store. And those comic book store guys were rolling up to unlock the door in like BMWs every week.
Right.
People were just, there wasn't like a golden age, I guess, whatever you want to call it, where, literally the end of new comic book day, stores were empty. Like shelves were bare.
Right. Yeah. And also, this is a Joe Quesada cover. A lot of people, I probably don't recognize that, but it is, and it's awesome.
All right. So let's move on. Who was it? Was it Clayton J that asked about Detective Comics? I think it was. All right.
Yeah, somebody asked about Detective.
So let's move on to Detective Comics. All right. So we got Detective Comics number 500 from 1981. It is a 9.2, and we've got it for $34.
This is a perfect example of what Sean and other people were talking about. How many times do you see Batman on a cover smiling if it's not with Robin?
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? If Robin's not in the book or is not in that, continuity right there, you never see Batman smile. Batman's got that face that's curdling milk that you're going to catch a beating because you did something wrong. There's no sort of, you know what I mean? It's that face of just, what are you thinking, man?
A lot of great talent on that book, too, if you look at that list.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look at that who's who. Is that Carmine Infantino?
Yeah. Walt Simonson, Lynn Wein.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
William Gibson or Walter Gibson? Walter Gibson. Okay.
Oh, did I see Paul Levitt's name up there or something?
Yep, Paul Levitz. Diggs Giordano. It's good stuff.
That's exactly where it is. Come catch these bad hands. That, it's like to a lesser extent, Captain America makes the face, but it's not violent. It's disappointed. Like Captain America's everybody's dad, right? So he walks into it, he catches you robbing a bank, and he's like, "Really, son?
What's up,
did you not think I was going to smack you around for this?"
All right. So next up, we got Detective Comics number 526 from 1983. It's Batman's 500th appearance in Detective Comics. It is a 9.2, and we've got this one for $34.
Yeah, I don't know if it was this, but I seem to remember a lot of these books, like the first printing was like a gold banner, and if they go to a second printing, it would be like a silver banner.
Right.
Because I'm flipping through stuff from this era, and I'm seeing some stuff that's gold, some stuff that's silver, and I'm like, I'm trying to think of what it was, and I'm pretty sure, and somebody else might remember better, but I seem to remember some of the covers. That's what they did. If they had to go to a second printing to kind of distinguish it, they sort of.
I wonder if there was a direct market thing or something, because this is about the time that the direct market was kind of doing their thing, right? In the early 80s, I think, maybe.
Well, and then, of course, you get the people that would double dip, right? Because people were buying everything. So you'd get a guy who, I missed it. So he orders it when it comes in, it's silver. But then you've got the guy that's the completist, and he's like, oh, wait, there's another version of this? Oh, it's just a second printing in a different color. It doesn't matter. Put it in my pull list.
Yeah, and Marvel and Todd McFarlane really capitalized on that with Spider-Man #1, right?
Yep. We're going down like the periodic table of the elements. This one's a tungsten cover. All right, dude.
All right. So next up, we got Detective Comics number 532 from 1983. Joker appearance. It's a 9.2. And we've got this one for $26.
Look at the train, man. That's Bill Finger energy in the train.
Who's ripping off who? Maximum Overdrive or this? Like, what's going on?
All right, Clayton J. All right, you got it, buddy. All right, then next up we have Detective Comics number 569 from 1986. Also Joker appearance, and we've got this one for 26 as well.
This is a trippy cover.
I love the cover. I love this era of Joker, like the look of Joker at this time too. It's good stuff.
Yeah, this is. I think this is the Joker that Mark Hamill tries to tap into a little bit. When he's doing, I think it. I don't think he's trying to be like, what I call the Injustice version of Joker, where
right.
I snuck a nuke in because who doesn't like a nuke in the middle of their day? That's not particularly. I never get Joker will kill you if it's funny. Joker just doesn't kill you and walk away, because that's sort of not the part of the mania or whatever you want to call it. That's not who he is.
Exactly, Marcus. Superpowers Joker. That's my favorite iteration of the DC heroes and villains is still the superpowers era.
All right, so next up we have Detective Comics number 575 from 1987, Batman Year 2. McFarlane art, obviously, 9.2, and we've got this one for $32.
Well, this one's Alan Davis, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Alan Davis and McFarlane switched out like issues of Batman Year 2.
All right, then we have Detective Comics number 576 from 1987, Batman Year 2. It's also 9.2. Got this one for $32 as well.
Now that one's McFarlane, and you can see that Spawn like cape starting to come out in his pen. This is really cool stuff. It's an interesting story because they're trying to over-explain why Batman doesn't use guns, but it's also the basis for Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Like they take this story and they merge it for that. Yeah.
I always picture McFarlane and like Kelly Jones sitting at a table seeing how many pages they can make Batman's like cape in a sketch, right? Like it starts here and then they get down there and the cape is still, I had to explain to someone one time when they saw like Kelly Jones, like Red Rain or something. And they're like, how can he move with his cape that big? And I'm like, well, I said, it's 50-50. It's a big cape, but it's not that big. I said, there's some artistic license there. No, it's not a wedding gown. It's not wedding gown long. It's,
All right. So then we have Detective Comics number 577 from 1987. Also Batman Year 2. It is a 9.2. And we have this one for $32.
Another iconic and beautiful McFarlane cover. And yes, TJ's right, Sean. McFarlane actually started at DC with Infinity Inc., I believe.
Yeah, I was going to say Infinity Inc. was one of these things that, and it's funny because it disappeared.
You got it, Clayton.
Every once in a while, you'll see somebody throw like a callback to Infinity Inc. You'll see one of those characters pop up in something.
All right, so the last detective book of the night, Detective Comics number 578 from 1987. Also Batman Year 2, 9.2, and we have the one for $32.
That's a very cool cover, too.
Let's see, either Infinity Inc.
It seems weird when... It seems weird, like if you're doing Batman and you say to someone, hey, you know what? I'm going to put sky blue in his costume. You're like, what? But it works. Like I always thought in a quote unquote real world setting, Michael Keaton's Batsuit is kind of what you get, or some version of that. It is black. Or at the very most, like graphite, super dark leather, kind of weird materials that only Bruce Wayne Enterprises has access to. But you look at this and think of how long you've had Batman with the yellow belt, the yellow bat symbol, and there's no other color term for it.
Sean,
that's light blue.
That is correct. We have it for 15. It is a 9.2, buddy. So let us know if you want it, Sean.
TJ, I don't know if McFarlane did All-Star Squadron. All-Star Squadron was Roy Thomas and for a while maybe Joe Staton. I'm trying to think of who else did some of that too.
All right, you know what? We'll give Sean another minute. Just let us know, Sean. Okay, you got it, Sean. Sean
Nice.
Yeah, that's super nice.
All right, cool. All right, so we have to go to our next break. We'll be back in a couple minutes. I guess we got to give Jay a second.
Somebody wake up.
Programming on the EXP is made possible by viewers like you, or your local comic shop, or that Kickstarter you backed, or the publisher you like, or comic industry professionals who want to share a message with the world. Really, anyone who wants to advertise with us can. If you're interested in seeing a product you know and love, or are creating, or are publishing, or are involved with, advertised here on The Experience, and having your message shared with our viewers, please reach out by scanning the QR code below or visiting our website and using the contact form. You know how when you go to Comic-Con, after Comic-Con, you go to the hotel bar, and there's a whole bunch of people playing music and dancing, and you've got Pikachu and Lara Croft Tomb Raider doing the cha-cha slide just down from Deadpool and Batman and Wonder Woman? That's every Saturday night over on the Experience Twitch channel. Join Taji Beats for the EXP Dance Party, exclusively on Twitch, twitch.tv/the_EXP.
To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise. A promise of adventure. A promise of excitement. A promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey. And behind every page, there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop. Visit comicshoplocator.com today.
Really have an intern. He says the shit.
Yeah, right.
This is why I bring soda, so I don't have to get up again.
All right, so we are back, and we didn't mention at the beginning of the show, but I didn't want to make mention of it today.
Here's how somebody just threw it up there. Make sure, and we try to remember this every week. Make Amy happy. Click and fill out your registration forms because we don't need Hurricane Amy coming in here.
Yeah, there we go. I'm sure you did, Sean. You've claimed stuff from the show before, so I'm sure we're good. If not, I'm almost positive we have your email anyway. Phil, what's going on, man? All right, so I did want to make mention of it. Obviously, today is 9/11. It's just unbelievable that this much time has passed. Obviously, it doesn't lessen it anymore for anyone. I know John has known people. I never knew anybody directly, but through living in New Jersey, it's kind of hard not to know somebody that works in Manhattan, or a friend of a friend, or a friend of a relative, or something like that.
Well, generally, the northern half of the state primarily works in New York.
Yeah,
pretty much. Southern half of the state primarily works in Philadelphia or Atlantic City.
Right.
So, for at least half the state, the more densely populated half,
It's not a big state.
You know, it's not. We're not a big state. Keep in mind, Philly and New York are 90 minutes apart on the turnpike.
So certainly, all those that lost their lives that day, and certainly all the ones that lost their lives over time, with everything that happened, with all obviously just the rubble and everything else. Hey, Lars, man, what's up, man? So just wanted to make mention. I mean, it's not. Certainly a part of our history. Yeah. I'm a little amazed at how much time has passed, because we now have generations of kids. You know, even my daughter, she was 2 at the time, I think. Even she has no real recollection of it, except on the anniversary date every year as she got older. But yeah, there's I guess in a very strange sort of way, it was probably a lot like what happened with Pearl Harbor as time went on.
Yeah, it becomes like a dividing line.
Yeah,
right? Like
those of us that remember.
This era is ending, this era is starting now, right?
Right.
Because before 9/11, there wasn't all this crazy conversation like day in and day out about terrorist attacks and then security and those kinds of things.
Well, it changed the way that we look at the world, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, things where air travel was different. People saw air travel differently. It became a very different world. When I tell someone who's younger, oh, yeah, you would just pull up to the airport, park, jump on the plane, like 15 minutes before you took off. Like, it's almost like I'm telling them, like about a story from like Hogwarts or something. Like, that doesn't really exist. And I'm like, no, if your flight left at 10, you'd get to the airport about 9:15, park your car, grab a cup of coffee, and you'd be in your seat at like 9:15.
Yeah, Sean, 9/11 changed everything. It's weird. I know what you're talking about there. I have a cousin who was working at the time at Sloan Kettering, the Cancer Research Center in Manhattan, and remember talking to her. And essentially, she had to walk over the Brooklyn Bridge to get out of the city. Yeah, it was absolute chaos during that period of time, as I'm sure everybody remembers. Just wanted to take a moment. It is something that altered our way of life, the way that we looked at the world in such a way that probably we hadn't had anything of that nature right at home since probably Pearl Harbor. So, but I did want to make mention and certainly think about all those people that lost their lives that day. It is crazy and weird. 22 years ago, it's hard to believe. It doesn't feel that long, but then I look at my daughter and I realize it was that long. And Lars, man, you are absolutely right. We all became New Yorkers that day.
Well, I told you today I went to sort of like a private, memorial type service, and my friend's daughter is in dental school. I mean, I still tend to think of her as like a kid, like a little kid. And she's talking about dental school and her condo and how she's trying to find like a competitive lease car rate. And I just, you know what I mean? Like I'm standing against the wall and it's almost like, wait a minute.
Going, damn, I'm old.
When does she become 25 years old? You know what I mean? And it's just,
see,
it is what it is.
So that all those people saying happy 29th birthday ain't going to fly, buddy.
Like I said, it was like my 30th anniversary, my 29th birthday. Thanks, everybody.
But yeah, I want just take a moment to recognize all those that were left, families that were left. It was a tragedy. We hope that we'll never see again. I don't know, Robbie, if you wanted to add anything or.
It was just a crazy day. I remember I was 20 years old, and I don't know. It's just it's so crazy that it was so long ago. Yeah, for sure.
Hard to believe.
It did drastically change everything, like almost overnight. Like it's a whole new world since then. And it's one of those watershed moments, like when I was growing up, or when you guys were teenagers or something. Maybe the way that we would think about something like the JFK assassination, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And then before that, Pearl Harbor, like you were talking about, like it was something that's in the past. And kids today, like there are people that work for me that were not alive when 9/11 happened, and it's weird to think about it like that.
Yeah. All right, so let's do a quick Rex cap. All right, and then our Screech has got some words of wisdom that he wants to share with us after we do the Rex cap.
Did he get that trademark?
I don't think you can. I think Saved by the Bell has a trademark.
You're gonna get him sued.
Actually, and the only person that could trademark it would be Travis Bueller. He came up with it.
Yeah.
All right. Oh man. All right. So we had King Spawn number 20 signed with Spawn cover sketch by Ken Haeser. Suggested retail of $99.99. Tonight we have it for 5-star at $50. Then we had Batman number 181 facsimile edition signed with Poison Ivy cover sketch by our buddy Ken Haeser. Suggested retail of $99.99, and we have the one available for $66.19. Then we had Captain America number 1 signed with Punisher cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariana Nicieza. Suggested retail nope, has not.
I thought somebody about this. Okay.
Suggested retail of $119.99, and we have it for $74.19 tonight. Oh wow, Darth! Yeah, my office
crazy.
closed down. We sent everybody home. That was.
Well, I remember. A lot of people just left. Like they didn't even ask. They simply just got up and went.
I was actually on the way to work, right? And my then ex-wife, my daughter's mom, called me and said a plane had run into the World Trade Center. The whole time I'm picturing, right. I thought it was odd that she called me. I'm picturing like a Cessna or something, and some just new pilot who just got his license and accidentally ran into
like a bomber ran into the Empire State Building, and it was like, oops.
Well, no. Well, I thought it was just it was just like a private pilot in his little Cessna, and was so stupid as not to see two big towering,
Yeah,
buildings
you just didn't expect to see that at all.
And she says, "No, I don't think so." She goes, "I think it was a passenger jet." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "That stuff never happens, right?" Yeah. So I went all the way to work, and we all flipped on it. I got there, and there were already people watching.
People already watching on TV or the computer, yeah.
Then I realized that it wasn't, and then I'll never forget. Everything just shifted that day. That was crazy. All right, so last cover sketch. Star Wars Vader Down number 1 signed with Ahsoka cover sketch by Brandon and Brian Frame. Suggested retail for $119.99, and we have it for $77.19. Yeah, large man. Yeah, I got to imagine. Well, shut down everything that day. That was crazy. All right, next up we got, of course, Dynamite 10-pack reader set, always available. 10 random Dynamite titles for $5, 50 cents a copy. Can't go wrong. All right. Then we have Batman number 387 from 1985. It is a 9.2. Third appearance of Black Mask, and we have it for $22. Then we had Batman number 404 from 1987. Frank Miller's script, Batman Year 1, 9.2, and we've got that for $45. You got it, Lars, man. All right. Let's see. Then we had Batman number 406 from 1987. Frank Miller, Batman Year 1. It's a 9.2, and we've got that one for $25. Then we did Batman number 426 from 1988. That's When the Family Begins. It is 9.2, and we've got it for $48. CJ. Yeah, CJ. I actually know that design. That area design of the airport. O'Hare's right next to Rosemont, if I remember correctly. So that is a major throughway, dude. There's like traffic everywhere all the time, and so I gotta imagine it must have been pretty bizarre for your wife to see that. All right. Then we had Batman number 427, Death in the Family Part 2, 9.2, and we have that one for $35. Then we had Batman number 428 from 1988, Death of Robin, the Jason Todd Robin, which I gather everybody was very happy about. It is a 9.2, and we have that one for $70. Then we did
Is
Batman
there a
number
budget of price for 404?
404. Make me an offer there, CJ. Or not CJ. Mill Skills.
$3.
All right. So then we have Batman number 429 from 1989. Death from the Family Joker, and we have that one for $15.
And like Robbie had pointed out too, these are like landmark books of this era. For people that want to revisit this era, for people who missed this era.
Oh, Preston, don't be like that, man. Wesley was all right. It wasn't fantastic, but he was all right. Come on, man.
Even Will Wheaton knows Wesley Crusher was hated.
All right, Large Man, you got it. You got it, buddy. 429. I got you. Come on, I kind of like the Wesley Crusher.
Well, the guy who got so upset about the Wesley Crusher hatred was Gene Roddenberry, because as he said at the Star Trek convention, he's Wesley Crusher. He's that character. And the fact that people like universally hated like a pimple-faced kid on the bridge was just.
Yeah, well, I thought I don't know. He kind of grew on me. I didn't like him at first. But he kind of grew on me, I think. All right, so Mill Skills. Hold on a second. Which one were you looking for again?
Batman 404?
Was it 404? Yeah, there we go. 404. Thank you. Yeah, I don't think I can come down that much, my friend.
How much
So
is
we're
it?
at 45. Mill Skills would like to do it at $29.99. So we're $15 apart.
Do it at 37. Kevin Smith fans know why.
All right, yeah, maybe. I'll tell you what. All right, Mill Skills. I can do. Thanks to our buddy John, he suggested 37. So that's probably the best I can do. So I can do 37.
There you go, Clayton.
And that's available. If Mill Skills turns it down, that is available to anyone who wants it. All right, but Mill Skills has right of first refusal. You got $10 to help.
Larson, if you want to help Mill Skills out, you guys work it out as long as.
So $7 more is what I can do. I gotta tell you, Mill Skills, because it's one of the consignment books. I have a very small window with which I can make deals. All right, so let me know if you want it for 37, buddy. All right. So where do we leave off? Did I read them all? No, I did not. Okay. So then we had Detective Comics number 500 from 1981. It's a 9.2. And we've got it for 34. Then we had Batman number 526 from 1983. Batman's 500th appearance in Detective Comics, 9.2. Got that one for 34. Lars Man, let's see. Lars Man, so you're saying that at 30 you're gonna add the 10 to help him?
Well, he doesn't even have to add 10. He only has to add.
You only need to add 7.
You only need to add 7.
All right, you will put it in your claim if he goes for it. Okay, all right, fair enough.
Thank you.
So let's see.
Alex has to figure all this
out. All right, so it's 4. Okay, so
actually, these aren't like
Mill Skills. All right, so Mill Skills, you've got the 30, and our buddy Lars Man is going to cover it's the 7 for you, my friend. All right, so there you go, buddy. So definitely shout out to our buddy Lars Man. Yep, Lars Man's like that. Actually, the whole community's like that, actually, to be quite honest.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people in the community kind of help each other out.
It's fantastic to see. They've bought Robbie books. They bought
John
books.
They've bought everybody's bought books.
Yeah, so that is really cool. Thank you, guys. All right, so then we have Detective Comics number 569 from 1986. Joker appearance, 9.2, and we've got that one for $26. Then we have Detective Comics number 576 from 1987, Batman Year 1, or Year 2, rather. And we've got that one for $32. And then finally, we have Detective Comics number 578 from 1987, Batman Year 2, 9.2, and we've got that one for $32. And
is this a sword?
Jay, Jay, that's an excellent point. Okay. I challenge everybody out there, and there are great shows on YouTube streaming for comics, but I don't know too many where you've got people claiming stuff and claiming it for other people.
We're the opposite of a claim show. Claim shows, they tend to devolve into this sort of, vicious sniping, and I'll give you $30 and a penny. And
on our show, people are like, no, give it to so and so. No, you take it. No, you take it. Okay, so that's right. You're right, Jay. All right, so now Alex has words of wisdom to share with us this evening.
Oh, real quick before we get started.
Oh, real quick.
Very quick. We joke around a lot about my influence at Dynamite Publishing, which is really zero. But then this came out last week. There aren't a whole lot of books done in green like this. So I'm taking credit for this. Lucio Prillo too, but I really like this book.
Yeah, the guy that did the art and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the guy who did the art, whatever. But
so I guess he contributed something.
Sheen is one of those books that I absolutely love. This is actually a great jumping on point for Sheena too, actually. They've done some really cool stuff with her. She's just not, Jungle Woman as it used to be. That book came out last week. I'm sure stores probably still have some. I don't know about the green one, though. The green one you might have to talk to your dealer about.
She's the queen of the jungle. Why would
your comic dealer, by the way, to clarify?
No, your Ford Mazda dealer.
Happy Monday. New segment we have every week. We go over the new previews and see the new Dynamic Forces solicits, because we've got some great stuff to offer you. So why not show you what we're offering? So if you go to your local comic store, you can see our previews, or you can go to dynamicforces.com and see our upcoming items. However, let's start with the first item, which is Punisher number 1, signed by David Pepose. So we're gonna scan these all, and so we have this signed by David Pepose. MSRP is $49.99, and we're gonna have this for $19.75. I don't care. $19.75. There you go.
You can stand in front of me. You're the one who's reading the stuff. Go ahead, man. Nobody needs to see me looking at the comic.
Hey, SEAL Team, what's up, buddy?
So, just so everyone knows, all these are going to come out in November. So, if you're interested, go to your local
Marcus,
store.
Claim every book on tonight, and we'll make him stop. I will throw him out personally.
Yes.
Why are you guys so mean?
Make a donation to my salary, and that would be helpful to make me stop. No,
I'll throw them all the way outside into the parking lot. I'm not even playing.
So all these books you can order from your local retailer, and if they are unable to get them, you can order them from our website. So the second option is Marvel Comics commission cover art sketch, Punisher, signed and remarked by Mariano Nicieza and Joe Del Beato. This is the classic Punisher Warzone #1 homage sketch. So, Lars, man, this is not something you can claim from us on the show. These are in the previews that you can go to your local comic store and order weekly. So this is all stuff that's being solicited for November to come out. So all this stuff you can get, or you can order it from our website. So MSRP of this is $149.99, and we have this for $99.99. Moving on to Venom number 27. Venom 27. This is a really cool, really nice cover.
Oh, I like that.
And we're offering this CGC graded. So that means you can buy this in a holder. You don't have to deal with CGC. Now, we offer 9.6 minimums. However, we do pre-screen these, and we do send out all the 9.8. So it is, we can't guarantee a 9.8, but more or less, you're almost very likely to get a 9.8. Of course, we can't guarantee it based on what we get back. However, 9.9s do go out too.
Is this Spider-Man Beyond?
No.
Because he's got like the Batman Beyond outfit on.
This is the new Venom, I believe. I think that's what's going on there.
So
Black Widow is Venom, is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Black Widow is Venom. Speaking of,
Sure, man.
You see the symbol? Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that the?
Oh yeah, I couldn't see that. There it is. Great, Alex, I appreciate you.
Venom number 23. This is, I like that. This is Gabriel Delato comic exposure exclusive variant. We have this for $29.99. I want to take a quick break really quickly and say, quick shout out to this weekend Baltimore Comic Con. We saw one of you came up to me and said hi. So, can we show the photo if it's possible? Shout out to TJ James, who saw me walking around.
Oh, there he is.
Said hi. We talked for a minute. I was very busy, so I appreciate him understanding I was very busy. But it was very nice to see him at the show, and it was very wonderful. So, TJ, great to see you. All right, the next comic we have coming up is Ultimate Invasion number 1. This is the Miko Sueran comic exposure exclusive, and we have this for $29.99.
The Ultimate Universe makes me so
I know, the Ultimate Universe is back.
Yeah,
And
the
actually,
Ultimate Universe makes me so
Speaking
happy.
of Ultimate Universe, I'm going to go out of the order and go to the next Ultimate Universe. It's literally Ultimate Universe number 1. We are offering this CGC graded. So, number 1, great cover. I mean, you see Iron Man, Ultimate Iron Man, Orson Scott Card's Ultimate Iron Man, I believe. Captain America and Thor, the Ultimates, back again.
The superior Captain America.
Yeah. Speaking of superior, we're offering Superior Spider-Man Returns.
Yes.
And what's cool is we have 3 different options. Get it signed. We have it signed by Dan Slott. MSRP $49.99, but it'll be $26.91 for Dan Slott's autograph on this book. Yes, Dan Slott is writing it, and Ryan Stegman drew it. So we do have issue number 1 signed by Ryan Stegman as well.
The Stegosaurus logo?
Absolutely. It'll be $49. You can see the yellow under his webbing. $49.99 MSRP, but we're going to offer it to you for $31.02. And finally, we do have to offer a CGC graded. It's a great cover. Don't deal with CGC. Let us deal with it for you. $99.99 for the CGC copy. We have one more sketch. It is another Superior Spider-Man sketch. This is Joe Del Beato, Mariano Nicieza, Spider-Man punching Doc Ock so hard his soul leaves his body and joins Spider-Man's body. And that's why he's the Superior Spider-Man. Right, Robbie? I know you like that one.
Yeah, that's kind of basically what happens, right?
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Dan Slott mentioned he's not going to retire. He mentioned this on Twitter one day when somebody told him the same thing. You should retire. He said, I have bills to pay.
Yep.
And if you keep buying the books, I'll keep writing them.
Yeah.
So, if you're going to organize some kind of lockdown of Spider-Man books, good luck, man. That's probably not going to happen.
Not with Dan Slott, no. MSRP $149.99, and we have it for $99.99.
Oh, that's a good shout out, Lars, man. I like that.
We have 2 Deadpool offerings. We've got the new upcoming Deadpool 7 Slaughters number 1, signed by Greg Capullo for $49.99. And we have signed by Mark Guggenheim. MSRP is $49.99.
Love his museum.
But today and this month, $33.33. Deadpool 7 Slaughters, signed by Mark Guggenheim. And the final Dynamic Forces offering that I'm going to show you tonight is Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars Battle World number 1, homage sketch by Ryan Stegman. Sorry, homage variant signed by Ryan Stegman. There's a little Stegosaurus under Cyclops on the left. MSRP is $49.99, and we're going to offer it for $40.
Ron is with us now, and he wants to know when is the new Spider-Man CCA available.
So everything that I just showed and more is available right now on the Dynamic Forces website and is available to order at your local comic retailer. So go there, support your local retailer, ask them to order the Dynamic Forces books through Diamond because they are in the previews. And again, this is September's previews for things that come out in November. So thank you all for giving me your ear. We now return you to your normally scheduled non-Alex Pro yet.
Hey, Ron,
Do we
just
know
so
what
you
book
know,
that
buddy,
was?
yeah, Lars Man picked up Star Wars Vader Down, the Ahsoka cover sketch for you. Wasn't sure if you were here for that or no. So,
I
Jay,
texted him. I told
oh,
him.
did you, Jay, if you could throw that up, thank you. So, just so you know, Lars Man picked that up for you, buddy. All right, so let me do a quick Rex cap of the other three.
You're not going to do the Rex cap of what you just said, are you?
Oh God. All right,
Good
so
night, everybody.
these are the three cover sketches we had, buddy. All right. King Spawn number 20, signed with Spawn cover sketch by Ken Haeser. Suggested retail of $99.99, and we have it for $50 tonight. All right, and then we have Batman number 181 facsimile edition, signed with Poison Ivy cover sketch by Ken Haeser. Suggested retail of $99.99, and we've got it for $66.19 tonight. And then finally, we had Captain America number 1, signed with Punisher cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. Suggested retail of $119.99, and we've got it for $74.19.
Ron's not feeling so hot, so I don't know if he realizes he texted me or he didn't type it in.
Oh, what's up,
Lars Man Ron said thank you. He's kind of like dozing on and off. He's like,
not a problem, buddy. Wow, Lars Man.
Lars Man, wow.
Dude.
Holy cow.
Lars Man's a really great guy, I got to tell you. Everybody's
Well, then
really
why don't you
guy.
give him stuff?
It's not always up to me, but you know what? We're going to throw something in for Lars Man this time. That's for sure. All right, this one's going to John Spilios. Big John, you still there, buddy? Look what Lars Man's playing Santa Claus today, buddy. All right, so apparently Ron is not feeling well because he's been texting John here. So he's kind of in and out. So hoping you feel better, buddy.
Well, I was texting him a little bit to let him know that OUG is here. And,
OUG, what's up? Okay, what
no, he was texting me to let me know he wasn't feeling well. And,
I'm sorry to hear that.
So he sort of, you know how it is when you're not feeling well, you're sleeping and awake, and, you take the NyQuil or whatever.
Especially
I
at
think
our
we've all been
age.
there. What?
Especially at our age.
Yeah, if you're sick or take NyQuil or it's
Because
me,
you ain't no 29, Pally. All right.
Dude, that 4:30
we gotta
movie is sounding better and better all the time.
We're going to take our next break, our last and final break. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
What if Hans Gruber from Die Hard had to battle the Joker from Batman the Animated Series in a dance battle? Or who would win in a race between Baby from Baby Driver and Snidely Whiplash? If Austin Powers and Shrek found themselves in a hot dog eating contest, who would emerge victorious? These are the questions we talk about on Nerd Killer Warfare. Debate the most absurd questions you've ever heard in popular culture. Register now by scanning the QR code or visiting bit.ly/EXP casting.
Imagine being at a convention and going to an interview panel that's just for you. No bustling crowds, no hours-long lines, just you, the moderator, and your favorite comic book creators. Well, this is pretty much that. Miss Jen sits down every week with 2 comic book creators for a live stream interview about their latest work, and you can ask them whatever you want. It's Talking Shop, Mondays at 5 Eastern on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales. There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit comicshoplocator.com to find a store near you.
Go follow The Experience on TikTok at @the_EXP1 or scan the QR code on the screen. Our TikTok is like everywhere else we are, except you only have to deal with us for a minute. Seems like a win-win to me.
Comic Collectables is a pretty straightforward show. You got Rex here, he sells the comics, and you got Rockin' Robbie, he knows about the comics. And finally, John, well, no one really knows what John does. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a great guy, but he just keeps showing up. Come to think of it, I don't even really know how he gets in here. Anyway, awesome comics, rare books, rarer signatures, slabbed books, and amazing cover sketches by Ken Haeser and others. Simple formula, you want the comics, you buy the comics. To sum up, Rex sells the comics, Robbie knows the comics, and John, who might possibly be a ghost. I mean, seriously, has anyone ever seen him show up or leave? Comic Collectables with Rex and John, Mondays from 6 to 8 Eastern on The Experience. Comic Culture and Sales.
Hey, we're back.
One final swing at this thing.
One final swing. All right, let's do
our last chance to get this right.
Before we get going, can I just say something real quick? So in the mail today, I get this package from Dynamite Comics, and it's this beautiful Adventures of Red Sonja omnibus hardcover, all the old school Roy Thomas, Bruce Jones, Frank Thorne, John Buscema stuff. Thank you all so much. This is awesome. I cannot wait to dive into this and start talking about it on my channel.
That was supposed to go to a different Robbie, man.
That was the guy who wins, not gets nominated. Those are super cool, man. I was really, really glad
you got it, buddy.
There's just we joke around a lot. Nick is a very generous friend. I'll just say that. He doesn't like us to say that, but Nick is a very generous friend. He there are stuff that even as a longtime fan like me, there's stuff that I would have a hard time finding. And, Nick makes sure I go home with something that, most Dynamite fans I'm on a waiting list for like 2 years. And I'm like, I drove to my friend's office and picked this up. So they're like, we hope you die. I'm like, yeah, I know.
All right. So let's hit incentives.
Yes, Nick is just a good dude. That's the
we're going to go to incentives next, my friend. All right. So first up, this is incentives from last Wednesday. So we'll have this week's incentives on this Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. All right.
Yeah.
So here we go. Amazing Spider-Man Volume 6, number 33, 125 ratio. Patrick Gleason trading out there for 25, and we've got it tonight for 15.
I just saw a thing, and I think maybe it was CBR, but they were talking about this is the hot spot of the comic economy now.
Right.
Like these variants, getting them at this price. And I think we talked about this on this show. Something goes on sale on Wednesday, and the next week it's on eBay or whatever for $22, $26. It reminds me slightly, Lars Man claims this book.
All right, you got it, Lars Man.
Slightly of the 90s.
Right.
Where something would come out on New Comic Book Day, and the next week someone would offer to buy it from you for $20 in the store.
I'm just happy that Lars Man's treating himself finally. So
yeah, right.
Lars Man.
He's bought something he's claimed something for everybody else except for no, he did claim Batman 429.
Nice.
All right. So next up we have Batman Volume 3, number 137. 125 ratio, Salvador LaRocca variant, trading out there for 25, and we've got it for 15 tonight.
Is this artist? Has this artist done something with Alien or Predator or something?
Yeah, he just recently did Alien with Philip Kennedy Johnson. He's been doing Marvel exclusively for a long time, so you don't see a lot of DC work out of Salvador.
Yeah, which is a shame because it's killer cover.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, we have Batman Volume 3, number 137, 150 ratio, Joe Quesada variant.
Who picked up that Batman 500? Because this would be a great companion piece.
There you go.
Right? Yeah, wow.
Trading out there for 50, and we have it tonight for 40. All right. Yeah, it's nice, right, OUG?
There's
For
something
real.
about black and white for Batman that's just, when they did Batman black and white, I love that. But the statues were amazing. Batman, maybe more than any other character, lends himself into black and white.
Right.
By the way, John's favorite day of the year is coming up on Saturday, everybody. Batman Day.
Batman Day?
Go to your LCS and support them, and hopefully they'll have some good sales going on.
All right. And don't forget, on the XP, there's programming for 19 hours and 39 minutes.
Oh, nice.
Okay. That would be on Saturday on the XP.
Oh,
Continuous
no, okay.
programming.
That sounds like a Nick decision almost, the way he likes to do his prices.
It does sound like a Nick decision. It's how he prices stuff.
All
There's a Batman book that is debuting on Batman Day.
Screech is standing here doing the pee-pee dance, so I guess there's something
No,
he has
this
to
isn't
say.
somebody's going to get a sale.
I am fully hydrated. Listen.
I'm fully hydrated.
Right now, says a special. That's a special to you. It's a Screech special. Death of the Venomverse #1. This is the 1 in 100 Lyrics Lee variant. The 1 in 100. We got one copy of this. For now, at the end of the show.
Nice.
Best offer, starting at $1. Go.
Nice.
Jay, ask Kyle if there's going to be a cooking segment planned on that day. Do I need to start working on something?
All right, Clayton J, you're at 20, buddy.
I will just say that Batman Day this year, they're debuting a brand new Batman book called Batman Gargoyle of Gotham by Raphael Grandpa. And it is one of the absolute best Batman books I've ever read in a long time. It is so good, so artistically sound. Everybody needs to jump on that book.
All right, so
we're
Triple B
25?
is at 25.
Let me just show this one more time close up so everyone can see.
That's
it.
what I was going to say. Show close up so people can see. There you go.
Lyrics Lee.
Man.
Lyrics Lee 1 in 100, and we only got one of these.
All right, so Preston, you are at 30.
It's a $30 right now. Enjoy, guys.
When's Marvel going to get on the right train and have a Venom Day? You know what I'm saying?
Every time I think they've gone to this Spider-Man, Venom, Spider-Verse world, well, one time too many, they still manage to find other stuff.
So,
for real though, why don't they have a Spider-Man Day? I mean, Spider-Man's one of the biggest brands in the world. Yeah, they should.
Yeah, no doubt.
You would think so. I mean, it's Marvel's premier solo character. I know people might say now, oh, it's Wolverine or it's something else. I'll go with in its 60-year history, it's Spider-Man.
I don't. I'm pretty sure this still stands, but I think it's the most popular boy brand in the world. Like as far as like toys and merchandising and licensing,
and the animated series from the 60s is probably as famous as the Adam West Batman shows.
Well, even the Japanese Tokusatsu series is famous now, especially with Spider-Verse. People know who Spider-Ham is now, and Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen. Like it's bigger than ever, I would argue, probably.
I tell people all the time, go find Fred Hembeck impersonation, like versions of Spider-Man, and you'll see exactly where this thing started. The Spider Buggy.
What is your favorite Batman comic series?
Probably Batman Adventures.
I got to tell you that years and years ago, and I read it until the jacket was all torn up. It was an omnibus of Batman comics all the way through the 60s.
Oh, like Batman Silver Age?
Yeah, all the way through. And that's where I really learned. And then, obviously when Neil Adams and so on got it, I started reading them. Very different. You could sort of tell the difference in the styles and the eras. So that I have to say was my favorite Batman comic was that omnibus. And it was, I could not believe it. I had to beg my mother to buy it. She was looking at this thing like I was crazy.
That's awesome.
For
me, it's I've already said it. It's Batman Year One of the greatest comics of all time. Batman Year One's my favorite Batman comic.
So Lars Man, I don't even remember how much that omnibus cost, but all I remember was a lot of money, and my mom looked at me like I was crazy.
I think he's asking how much for this comic right here, maybe.
Oh, this one. This one,
it's not all about you.
The Kasana variant is $40. Lars Man.
You're so vain, Rex. You think everything's about you.
I hope he comes up.
I bet you think this show is about you.
I hope Lars Man says it's actually he actually was asking about my omnibus.
No.
All right.
Lars Man claims it for OUG.
Are you serious, dude? Oh wow.
And make sure you put a ring in for OUG. I think she said she wanted a Black Lantern ring. Correct me if I'm wrong, OUG, but I think she wanted a Black Lantern ring.
All right, Lars Man is acting like Santa Claus, and it's not even Christmas time. Yeah, OUG, yep, that's it. What?
Does someone need to go check on Lars Man, make sure he's okay?
Lars Man, are you drinking single malt tonight, buddy?
He's been hacked.
Glenlivet. Because only Glenlivet can make you spend money like that.
No, I'll tell you, I'll throw this out there too, because I like the creator. If you want to take Batman Adventures off the board, because it's sort of like the animated series thing, I would probably say Legends of the Dark Knight by Matt Wagner. To me, Matt Wagner is almost like the perfect creator for Batman.
So you're talking about his story in Legends of the Dark Knight, which was Faces, that Two-Face story with the Freak Show. Yeah. That's a really, really solid book, actually, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome, Lars, man.
To me, for me personally, as not like the most hardcore Batman fan in the world, that story is sort of like the nitty-gritty of the Batman. I understand Batman Animated Adventures is sort of like a separate. They're kind of putting Batman in a less violent bubble in there in the animated world, less intense, whatever you want to call it. But for me, Matt Wagner that's like a guy that I would, if I had to pick a name really fast, and I know you've got Frank Miller and all these other names, but if I had to pick a creator to do a book for me, I would probably grab Matt Wagner. Going back to Grendel, and then he did some really cool stuff with The Shadow here at Dynamite, ton of other stuff. Like if I was like Powerball winner buying DC tomorrow, I would probably call Matt Wagner and say, "Hey, dude, do you want to do a Batman book?"
Lars, man, so happy to hear work's going well for you, my man. And man, spreading around like this, that's awesome, dude. You're a great guy. It's again, I don't want to say I'm in awe of this group. I mean, we've been doing this for a while now, but I am. You read the news, you open things up, and
that's a really good one, Jack.
And you very rarely see stories that are heartwarming or everything else. Most of it's negative. Hurricane here, fire here.
There's a lot of
murder there. And Lars Man, I gotta tell you, Lars Man, Big John Spilios, Ron, all these guys. Okay, everyone that watches. This is not something that happens every now and again. This happens a lot. It all depends on who's feeling it. I know John Spilios has done it, in the past. Lars Man certainly has. Just about everybody. Anytime we have a charity, some good cause support, everybody always comes out and supports it. So I just have to Lars Man, dude, we only did what we do when any friend is not feeling well or not doing well. We try to back them up. It's just a great community here.
Yeah, Lars, man, we woe you too.
We woe you too, bro.
Now I know, without a shadow of a doubt, that Robbie will win the best hair award because of the support of this group. There ain't no way.
CBCawards.org. Go get those votes in right now.
Somebody in our group is right now, making sure that their malware is ready to go to give Robbie more votes. They're going to be looking at that like there aren't that many people in the world. How could he have this many votes?
9 billion votes. They really like that show.
Wow. They really like that hair.
They might think there's some tomfoolery going on if they get 9 billion votes.
Because we always do it at the end and we forget. Robbie's doing his thing tonight, Horror Fest, a character near and dear to our own hearts, Elvira.
Yeah, they're probably going to come to Robbie. Robbie, it's great. You got 10 million votes. The problem is 5 million of them came within 10 seconds of one another.
I know, right?
How did that happen exactly?
OUG, you wanted a Black Lantern ring, right? We talked about this a week or two ago. So the Black Lantern ring might as well go in with her comic. I just think that we have Robbie show, and when you go to those CBC awards, check out your people, like find the shows you like.
Yeah, OUG is nominated for
for
Unknown Channel. Yeah,
I did not know that. I did not know that. Now I'm going to make a point of going in voting for everybody I know, except for best hair for Robbie, because I still do have to look at what the competition's hair is.
Well, one of the
other categories I got you, but
one of the categories I'm nominated for is best collaboration, which is our monthly comic book review. Carrie OUG is a part of that as well. So
I will vote for that because I really like OUG, so I will definitely vote for that.
I like OUG's all over that.
Oh man,
OUG is also my hairstylist, Rex.
What?
She's also my hairstylist. OUG is.
I will not.
That would be so cool.
I'm just kidding. She's not. She's
still
not.
like you, OUG. I'm not going to hold that against you.
I'm just kidding.
Okay?
She's not. She's not. I was just trying to get your vote. I do have my next hair appointment on Sunday, and I'm going to tell my stylist that we were nominated. And she's going to be very happy.
Decent people are in church on Sunday. Robbie's at the hairdresser. I'll just leave that out there.
So the worst thing is going to be when his hairdresser says, any money? No, I don't care.
The next time he goes to the hairdresser after he walks in with his awards, his hair, it'll be like $600. He'll be like, wait, what?
She going to raise the price.
$60 next time. No. Awards cost money.
I cut award-winning hair. Okay, inflation, buddy. Get
I want
used
to do
to
this
it.
real quick before we bomb out of here. Jay, what is on after this? Because I always feel like people miss it at the end.
Well, I have a few more to get to.
How many more? Be quick about it.
You must think you're Amy or something, Pally. Yo, step back.
John must have a movie he needs to get to or something. He's trying to rush through the end of this show so
right?
much.
No,
right?
I came here.
You, sir, are no Amy. Okay?
I came here from the
Back
movie.
up, mister. Okay?
Oh, thank you, Jay. Yeah,
it's Comic Collectables with Rex and John. Okay? Notice. It's not alphabetical.
It's not alphabetical.
All right.
You better have the best comic in the world.
When we got nominated in the first one.
Oh, that was so funny. I'm like, what?
John was convinced he was coming for the hair award. He thought it was the mutton chops. He was coming for it, dude. He kept talking. I'm going to win that best hair. I'm like,
you know what? I posted a photo on Facebook like a while back of the mutton chops, and someone said, "Hey, post a current photo. You don't still have them, do you?" I'm like, I've had them since high school. Where do you think they're going?
So I'm telling John, okay. I'm telling John, oh yeah, I think you can do it. I think you can do it. And like Amy's standing there, I'm looking at Amy like, no way, no, not gonna happen. But I said he's an old guy, so I want to make him feel good. So, yeah. All right, let me get to the rest of these.
Wait, Collecting Dude has a question about the one.
Collecting Dude gets butt up and walk in here and find out. I'm not answering him through a satellite that's 3 miles in the air when he's in the next room.
Is that Collecting Dude?
Yes. Dude, are you serious?
This is as bad as when I found out
Jenna's
Have you been drinking
name, and you didn't bring me any?
Hey, did you realize Jenna's last name is just like Jay's? And everyone looks at me like, you're serious.
Like, dude, really?
That was funny. That was priceless.
All right, so real quick. Birds of Prey, Volume 5, number 1, 125 ratio Nick Bradshaw variant. We trading for 25. We've got it for 10.
Oh, nice. That's...
So, yes, Sinner, I believe Robbie can pull off the Elvis chops.
Well, he's already got the beard, man. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a small road from there. It's small.
I used to do some chops. I used to do that, but then I matured a little bit. So,
all right, Birds of Prey, Volume 5, number 1, 150 ratio, Chris Bacalo variant.
Ooh,
trading for 50. We've got it for 15. $15.
I'm going to be meeting him in a couple weeks. I'm very excited.
All right. So then we have Birds of Prey, Volume 5, number 1, 1:100 ratio, Leonardo Romero variant. Trading for 100, and we've got it for 45.
Wow. This has got like 1970s.
All right. Lars Man is claiming Birds of Prey, but which one, buddy? We've got a whole bunch. Is it the 125, the 1 in 50, or the 1 in 100? Let me know. And we got one last one. Oh, no, we don't. This is Blue Beetle. Never mind. All right, so Lars Man, let us know which the 150. Gotcha, Lars Man. So now,
I'm curious to see if we get something Birds of Prey TV show, animated series, movie. The big thing I saw was they lost Aquaman 2. Has anybody read this or seen
what do
this?
you mean they lost?
That was a fake article, bro. That was
was that a fake article? I was
Yeah,
going to say
that was a fake article.
Like,
the trailer's actually dropping in a couple of days because they did a teaser last night on Sunday Night Football for it, and it looks cool. Actually, it looks really cool.
All right, let me get the last four. All right, so we got Blue Beetle Volume 10, number 1, 125 ratio, Karen Grant variant, trading for 25. We've got it for 15. All right, then we have Immortal X-Men number 15, 125 ratio, Joshua Sway variant, trading for 35. We have it for 25. And Poison Ivy number 14, 125 ratio, Serge Acuna variant, trading for 25, and we have it for 15.
Big Bard is a great character. That's a character, if you follow her on Twitter, Gail Simone talks about Big Barda all the time. How like she would love to like do a Big Barda book, but I guess she's already doing like 90 other books. So.
All right, one last one.
Also, Rex, I'm not trying to be that. I'm not trying to be that guy, Rex, but it's not Serge, it's Serge.
Oh, sorry.
Good night, Kenneth Bird. Thanks for joining us.
There goes his vote for best hair. At least one of them. All right. Silver Surfer Rebirth, Legacy number 1, 125 ratio, Ryan Brown variant, trading for 25, and we have it for 20. All right, continue, gentlemen. Sorry about that. That's it for the night.
Is that it now for the night?
That is it for the night.
Now we're done, Rex. Now we're done. Like,
I really don't have anywhere to go. That was funny.
I know you don't, dude. You already saw the movies during the day today.
I did see the movie during the day today.
And you know.
Yeah, I would tell people, go check out Nun 2. You know, make up your own mind. I see some people bashing it, some people loving it.
So, Robbie, what's up tonight again?
Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
And what time? 9 o'clock Eastern?
9 Eastern, yes, absolutely.
Which for him is real time at 8 o'clock.
I so wanted to watch your show last night. When the power went out, I'm like, no, what? Right. Really? But then I saw the score, and I was kind of glad I didn't.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Like, you wouldn't have seen me frustrated at all.
So, Lars, man, I can't wait either, buddy. I can't wait either.
Yeah, the Elvira movies, the Elvira stuff is just, there's nothing better than when someone is in on the joke, right?
Right.
Like, if you kind of read Cassandra's book, talk to Cassandra, find her at a show or whatever, the fact that she's kind of, not only is she in on the joke, but she essentially is writing the jokes, makes everything she does that much better. You know what I mean? She's kind of done that deep dive into like the horror host thing, right, which Darcy, the mail girl, does for the drive-in. Joe Bob's Drive-In. Yeah. She very much is aware of, you know, exactly being in on the joke. Right. You know, she knows what, you know, why she's there. And she's talked about on social media, she would love to sort of follow that Elvira track of, you know, being in comics and movies and stuff like that. Elvira's a thing, probably the first two things I go to watch when spooky season comes, which I realize according to, you know, Eddie, it's all year, but is Elvira stuff and Vincent Price stuff, like the old Vincent Price stuff. Right. Yeah, so Joe Bob and Darcy are amazing. There's just, especially when you're kind of like his age group or older, that was sort of the way you got introduced to old horror movies. There was always some host, local, syndicated, whatever. They always had a kind of a corny gimmick, but it was still cool. And they would introduce you to these things that you would have never seen before.
GT Key, what's going on, buddy? So
yes, Elvira's biography is a must read. I was there getting my book and a bunch of other books signed. When she was up in North Jersey at a bookstore. Right. She went to a friend's bookstore to help her friend out. Cassandra stayed there, and it was freezing. It was freezing cold. And she stayed out there. She made sure people had hot chocolate. That's one of those people, those celebrities that, yeah, she is very much the real deal.
You know, and if you like Joe Bob and Darcy and what they do, we obviously got the Halloween specials coming up. Linnea Quigley just shared that her and Amelia Kincaid were on filming for Joe Bob. That means he's doing Night of the Demons, which is awesome.
All right. So the Death of the Venomverse, best offer goes to Preston. Congrats, buddy. It's yours, my friend.
Nice. Chiller Theater, the creepy six-fingered hand, man. That's
Chili Billy. Right? Chiller Theater had Chili Billy on as the host back in the day, right? Because he was in Night of the Living Dead, and his daughter is in Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
There's a very cool vibe in the horror universe that I think some people miss.
Hey, Ron, you might want to email Nick directly. I think she's doing well, with everything going on. But yeah, you might want to email Nick directly on that one, buddy. All right. So,
Joe Bob is probably the reason why I have Shudder. I'll say that I really love Shudder. I always tell people, hey, look, it's probably one of the best subscription values out there. I think it's like $7-8 a month and like way more content than you can get through.
Right.
But specifically when I see Joe Bob there, that's kind of.
All right. So, Jay, what do we have coming up on the EXP?
Well, after this show, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we're going to have the Devil's Advocates with Kyle and Bronze Age Nerd, and they're going to be discussing how many titles does a single character need, or does Wolverine really need to be in every comic?
Well, he does. You can just cancel that show right now. The answer is yes.
Maybe it should be Batman. All right. So, thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thanks for
we'll
joining
be back
us, everybody.
Wednesday at 7 Eastern for Comic
right. The
Collectables.
Eli Roth stuff on Shudder is great. That's sounded like really must-see TV.
And then we'll have I'll be on with our buddy Robbie at on his channel at noontime on Friday for the topic of the week, and then Nick will be back at 7 p.m. Eastern for his original art show on the XP. So again, great group.
Thanks,
I love
everybody.
this community.
Thanks for all the love, man. We really appreciate it.
And Robbie,
Go vote for
congratulations on your Cowboys. Enjoy the win. It might be the last one of the season. Anyway, we're tuned out.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.